tested, but they didn't get their results yet. I'm assuming on tomorrow's episode they get the results. We shall see. Ted ends up telling Andre to put Bill in his place. I said, good luck with that. Tomas tried to support Kat. Madison ends up telling Chelsea about her aunt who had cancer. Leslie warns Shanice about her Teddy once again. And the last thing is that Malone and Leslie slept together. They slept together. And based on what they were saying, I'm assuming that was the first time. That was the first time. But yeah, hey y'all, welcome back to another video. This is for Beyond the Gates 26. First things first, let me know your thoughts on this episode down below. What y'all think? Y'all like the episode? Let me see if it's showing the photo or not. If I double click, I think it is showing it. I don't know though. But yeah, what did y'all think of the episode? Did y'all like the episode? Nothing too much happened on this episode. We're gonna start with Dan and Nicole. So they was just in Nicole's office waiting to get tested and everything. Talking about their exes and justify why they leaning on their exes and stuff like that. Just saying it's because of their kids and stuff like that. I said, nah, see, that's nah. I said, Danny ends up talking about Bill. Then, well, first of all, before they started talking about Bill, they was talking about Ted, and Danny felt some type of way about that. But then she started talking about him, and they agreed that the reason why they was leaning on him because they have kids together and stuff like that. But I said, once again, Nicole is single. You, however, are married. You are married, sweetheart. You got to remember that. But yeah, they's over here. I said, who y'all trying to convince? Who y'all trying to convince? Y'all selves that that's the truth? Y'all just moved on too fast. Well, I ain't gonna say Danny moved on too fast because she been split. I said she don't need to be stuck on Bill no more, running around shooting up the place and stuff, breaking stuff with baseball bats and everything. I said she need to move on, but at the same time, she hasn't moved on. She has not moved on. I don't care how many times she said. Then Andre over here at the end of the episode, they showed him holding her, saying he got her always. And I said, oh, he gonna get his heart broken. He gonna get his poor heart broken. Even when he was talking to Ted, he knew. He knew. He was like, for as long as it lasts or whatever, for however long that's gonna be. I said, right, exactly, because shoot, you never know. You never know. But yeah, like I said, Nicole and Danny was talking about their exes and why they leaned to them and stuff about their kids. Shanice came in to draw their blood. Next thing you know, they showed her. She was right there giving, I think, paperwork to, what's Chelsea girlfriend name? Madison. Paperwork to Madison. I said, that was fast. I said, that was fast. Hold on. But yeah, who else? Ted and Andre. Ted and Andre, they was talking about everything that Anita and Danny and them going through. Andre talks about Danny and Bill and the bond they had, that foundation they have. And Ted was telling him, look, I know what it appears to be, but I was right there. We know how many times he done broke her heart and how she had to get over it. We thought she would never move on, and she has. And he said, Andre ends up saying, you know, for however long that's going to be or whatever, for however long it lasts. And he was like, he can't compete with the years and the history that they got. And once again, he was talking about the same thing about Bill and they passed or whatever. I said, Bill ain't worth for darn. I said, Bill ain't, you and Bill ain't worth for darn. But people rooting for Danny and Bill to get back together just like they rooting for Ted and Nicole to get back together. But yeah, they was talking about that. He ends up saying that Bill get out of place, put him back in his place. I said, good luck chopping down that tree. I said, go on, chop down that tree because he already been disrespectful. She been disrespectful too. Like, shoot, the disrespect has already entered the doggone marriage. It's already entered. It's there. I said, all Bill got to do. Well, two things he could do. Well, he ain't got to do nothing really because she already still stuck on him. But for the sake of this video, two things, all he got to do is sit up here and, what was the one? Remember, I don't even think they're going to do that this season, though. So I just said one thing because I was about to say, that investigator he had looking into Andre past, he was going to uncover that. Y'all know I've been saying that. But the other thing, what was the other thing? Basically said he want her back. He already been kissing her stuff. I said she got one foot in the door, one foot out the door. But yeah, hold on. It was something else I was gonna say about Andre. Now I know Ted told him to put Bill back in his place. I know what the other thing was. The thing that Bill got to do is say, you know, we kissed, right? Say we kissed twice. Matter of fact, she ain't tell you that, did she? She ain't tell you that since y'all been married, we been kissing and stuff. I said, oh. I said, yep. That's all he got to do right there. But yeah, he was just encouraging Andre not to let Bill win and stuff like that, because Andre felt some type of way about Danny and Bill's connection, and he was like, what am I supposed to say, step aside or whatever, and, you know, interfere with him being the father to his kids or whatever. That's all they was talking about. Cat and Tomas, he stopped by to bring her a drink and check on her. He ends up telling her that Bill told him about what she dealing with. She ends up saying that she not gonna go get tested. He was basically trying to talk to her about it, and she still feel like she don't need to know. And I said, I think it kind of seemed like they leaning towards her having a drinking problem. That's what it kind of seemed like the next storyline for her is going to be. But yeah, everybody keep trying to convince her to take it seriously. Chelsea ended up coming in to tell her what Madison said about her aunt, how she didn't do nothing about her cancer, and then she ended up passing away. And the look on her face is like maybe she coming around, but then she got up, she felt some type of way. She went over there by herself. Naomi was quiet. She came. Naomi and Jacob was talking about the same thing. The whole episode was just about them still processing Anita having cancer, the possibility that they could also have cancer. I think when Madison and Chelsea was talking, she said that even if her parents test her mother's Lord have mercy. Even if her mama tests positive, it's a chance that she can, not get it. It's still a chance that she can't get it. She can't the Lord. It's still a possibility that she won't have cancer. I don't know why they was so hard to come out, guys. Leave now. But yeah, and she was just telling her about her aunt, and she said that's how it started with her mama. That's how they got into it, because her mama was encouraging her sister not to, do anything about her cancer, and then that's how she died. That's how she ended up dying or whatever. But yeah, then Chelsea ends up texting everybody, texting Martin and Kat and Naomi that she want to have a cousin sis time, but Martin couldn't make it. The ladies show up and they was just talking about it, and Kat, once again, she still don't want to get tested. She was like, she don't want to know. They was talking about how they know that Nicole and Danny, they just got the blood drawn and stuff, but they waiting on the results. That's all that happened with them. Let's see, Jacob and Naomi, they was talking about cancer, Anita having cancer. Naomi ends up saying how she wanted to take some time off the work so she could help with Anita and everything. And he's like, no, Anita wouldn't like that. Then they end up seeing him alone with Leslie. And they were just watching. Jacob went over there. And he ends up trying to warn him once again. I say, don't save him. He don't want to be saved. He don't want to be saved. He's just as bad as Leslie. That's the reality of things. He's just as bad. Might even be worse. I don't know yet. But yeah, what else? He was trying to warn him. Leslie flirting with Malone. Malone flirting with her. I said, you know you're still married, right? I said, I guess he don't care. Still talking about he only with her because he was trying to avoid her getting his money, but now it's too late because she divorced him and he still got to give up his money. They talking about meeting up at hotels and stuff. Next thing you know, before that, she done brought him something in the bed, talking about it's a treat or whatever. What's the treat? The donut, the cookie, whatever that was sitting on the table. What's the treat? Something else. Was it something else? I don't know. But yeah, next thing you know, they at the hotel, they kissing and stuff, and that's when she said something about she'll know if she want a second time if she like it the first time. Or whatever she said. And that's why I was like, okay, they hadn't hooked up. Remember that episode where she was touching on his leg the first time and stuff? And I was wondering if they actually hooked up, but apparently this was the first time. I don't know, y'all. But yeah, they kissing and stuff. Next thing you know, they done stuck together. And stuff. And then they started back. Talking about who using who and what they want and all this other extra stuff. I said, Meanwhile, she's still stuck on Ted. She ends up, I don't even think I wrote that down. Listen, Shanice. So Shanice was sitting up there. She was daydreaming about her kiss with Ted. Leslie showed up. She put the little flower thing on the desk or whatever. She was like, what you got going on, girl? She said, I know you ain't over here thinking about my man. I know you ain't over here thinking about my Teddy. Let me put you on notice right now. Didn't I tell you the last time to stay away from my man? She said, didn't I tell you the last time? Oh, you think stuff's sweet? That's what it is. You think it's sweet. But I like that Shanice don't be backing down. Because Leslie thinks she be scaring somebody for real. But I was interested to see how June handled her as well, because she seemed like she wasn't going to deal with her crap either. But yeah, Shanice holding her own down. I said, okay, girl. But yeah, Shanice was daydreaming about the kids her and Ted shared. Leslie tells her she better not be thinking about her Teddy. And she's like, I got eyes. Basically, I can see what's going on between y'all and stuff. And Shanice ends up saying that Ted not in his office, he gone and stuff. And she's like, how you know that? And she was like, because he told me or whatever. But yeah, then she ends up saying she do appreciate how she been taking care of her mama, taking care of Peaches and everything. After that, what was the other scene they showed Shanice? I know she was taking their blood, Nicole and Danny blood. She gave the paperwork to Madison. It was something else. Oh, Ted came up. They was talking and stuff. She ends up saying how Nicole needs a friend. She could use him right now. I said, don't send your man in there with his ex. I said, don't send your man in there with this woman. He already ain't over her. Don't send her in there. But nah, for real. That just shows how mature Shanice is, and the fact that, she better than Leslie, 10 times better. Definitely, because it couldn't be Leslie. It couldn't be no Leslie. Leslie ain't sitting there nowhere. She said, but yeah, he ends up, I think he was trying to make dinner arrangement with Shanice or whatever. But yeah, he went in there to check on Nicole and support her. She heard his stomach rumbling, and she ends up giving him that bar thing that she had in her desk for him, and she ain't had the opportunity to take out. But yeah, I think that's all that happened with them. Let me see if it's anybody I'm missing. Leslie Malone, Kat, Chelsea, Naomi. I think that was everything, y'all. Hold on. Kat had asked Tomas. No, Tomas asked Kat why she didn't tell him that it's a possibility that she could have the gene for the cancer and stuff. And she was like, she needed time to think for herself and think about everything and process everything. And she still ends up telling him she want to be alone. I said, yeah, that ain't gonna last. And then when he seen Jacob at the club or whatever, he was like, it's hard to be there and support her. This boyfriend thing is hard. It's hard to be there and support her because, she's so independent and basically she don't want him around and stuff. I said, yeah, he gonna end things with her sooner or later. He definitely gonna end things with her sooner or later. But I was like, might as well, because he's still stuck on Eva, and Eva's still stuck on him. Talking about she don't want to move. She don't want to move too fast, then proceeds to continue to sleep with him. But hold on. That's the equivalent of somebody saying how they not ready for a relationship, but they don't want to take things seriously, but they ready to have a baby. They don't want to get married, but they ready to do. Well, let me not touch on that. I don't want to offend nobody. I know everybody, I know everybody had their own opinions and stuff, but it's just certain things that just be like, that's the definition of moving fast, right? You tied to these people forever. They like to say, oh, when they get 18, no, forever.